Welcome to Razzball Radio for Tuesday, June 24. I am your host, Nick Capozzi. Busy day today. We're going to talk some deep leaguers with Sky, jammer cram with the Guru, and even a little bit of bullpen talk with Smokey. So lots to get to. Without further ado, here he is from the Pacific Northwest. I got to adjust your camera, man. You know what I used to love about you, Sky? You used to come woefully unprepared. Now I get a novel. We've got 7.5 minutes, and I could write a thesis with these deep leaguers. My goodness.
Well, I do work at a college. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I can tell you don't work at a hairbrush emporium.
No. I actually need a haircut really bad, and our soon-to-be sponsor, Sports Clips, should really get in on that.
All right, let's get right to the deep leaguers. Let's start off with Steve Pearce of the Orioles de Baltimore. He has been doing pretty good. You generally aren't big on lefty specialists, but tell me why he is worthy of consideration in the deeper of leagues.
Yeah, right now, besides the fact that he's hitting really well, he's finally getting a chance to crack the lineup against righties, and not just any righties. He got to face Masahiro Tanaka this weekend on Sunny, and he finished the day 2 for 4 with a walk. There weren't any home runs or any power in there, but the fact that he's getting in there and starting against a righty of Masahiro Tanaka's ability, that gets me extremely giddy.
Can you do me a favor, Sky? In the future, can you give me some warning if you're going to talk about Tanaka? Because it makes me all tingly, and I just need to be prepared for that so I don't squirm on the air.
But, currently they've been batting him second in the order, and they've been keeping him at the DH. And he's hitting around 350 there in the second spot in the order, over 40 at-bats. He could be a flash in the pan, but he's always been a guy that projects for power. And Baltimore has proven they can turn a just power lefty into something great with Chris Davis last year. So there's still potential here.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know if I'd be making any Chris Davis comps. Let's move to San Francisco. Joe Panic. Panic at the Disco. What's the story there, brother?
Well, the story there is, any deep leaguers out there crying that they didn't get a hold of Tommy La Stella. I'm crying that you're crying you didn't get Tommy La Stella. Neither of these guys are excited at all. They both just give you average. And this guy's first name is Joe. We're literally going to call him Average Joe. That's all he's going to give you. He could hit anywhere from 280 to 300. And maybe do 3 to 5 home runs, 3 to 5 steals, and depending on where he bats in the order is what his value is going to be to you. But again, some people are excited about having Scooter Gennett. Well, this is pretty much a Scooter Gennett clone. There's not much else going on other than average. It depends on where he's at in the lineup, what he's going to give you.
Don't knock Scooter. Gray and I both really like Scooter.
Oh, the town scooter.
All right, so let's talk about Stephen Vaught of the Oakland A's.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's up with Oakland. They seem to find, we like to punt catchers in fantasy baseball, and Oakland just likes to start about 4 or 5 of them in their lineup a day.
Hey, man, they zig when everyone's zagging.
No kidding. They converted Josh Donaldson. He was a former catcher. He's now their starting third baseman and is looking to hit about 30 home runs this year. And they'll start both Derek Norris and John Jaso with abandon in that starting lineup any day of the week. And they now have Stephen Vogt. Ever since Reddick went down in right field, Vogt's been getting most of the right field work. And he's been raking. He's hitting around 350. And he's got 2 home runs and 52 at-bats, which doesn't sound that great, but you span that out over 600 to 650 at-bats, you're looking at a 20 home run season. So I'm seeing a guy who could easily hit around 280 the rest of the year, give you 6 to 8 home runs. And the cool thing is with that catcher eligibility, if you ever need to swing him in down the stretch when your catcher's out, you've got a backup sitting in your outfield.
Yeah, I've had a few pretty good days over at DraftKings with him. I've snuck him in a couple times when he's able to crack that lineup because again he's got catcher eligibility at DraftKings.com as well.
Ultimate punt, yeah, 2,800.
All right, let's head to Cleveland. The mistake by the lake. I'm just kidding. I love you, Cleveland. I really do. Cleveland it's an underrated city. Talk to me about how underrated Carlos Carrasco is.
Yeah, Cleveland is underrated. I've always wanted to get Amish Girls Gone Wild T-shirt really, really bad and just go there. It would be great.
All right.
Anyway,
First of all, Cleveland is not really Amish country, but it is pierogi country.
so Carlos Carrasco. This is me totally prognosticating, and we know how that went with Ryan Wheeler. It went absolutely nowhere. But this is a guy that Cleveland really wanted to have in their starting rotation this year, and he came out and just completely fell apart. But over the last 30 days in relief, he has near an 11K per nine, and he's held down the back end of the rotation really, really, or back end of the bullpen really, really well. And Trevor Bauer has just been, I don't,
Nah,
it's been
nah.
tough to bear. It just hasn't been good. I could easily see Carlos Carrasco regaining a rotation spot with around an 8K per nine and maybe a high three, maybe a 120, 125 whip rest of the season if he gets a shot. You're really getting him for the Ks. He's not going to help you much in your other ratios, obviously. But they wanted him in that rotation to start the year, and I think he can get a chance to get back in.
You know what's great about this show, Sky?
Hmm.
It's our versatility. So, we've got you all, lit up and white, university educated, dropping big words. You work at an institution. Uh, Sorry, hold on. Did you want to talk to your wife for a second?
Yeah.
luckily, luckily, where I was going with that is we go from the heavenly sky getting interrupted by his wife. At least she didn't walk in naked this week. And now we're going to go and do a little jam or cram right after this in the dark, dank depths of Guru's basement. We'll be right back after this. Say hi to Holly for me. Hi, Holly.
Hi.
Okay, we're back. We've got the Guru with us at the Guru GS on Twitter. I am, of course, at Nick Capozzi, NickCapozzi. So you missed it, Guru. On the last segment, we had Sky on, and his lovely wife Holly just kind of walked in as we were taping. We didn't get her on camera this time, and 2 weeks ago, she almost walked in naked. So fingers crossed for next week.
Wow, this little radio podcast video cast is about ready to go next level, my friend.
Hey, speaking of which, isn't it Tattoo Tuesday over at thedirtyturban.net?
Yes, check out the dirtyturban.net. Today is Tattoo Tuesday. I think you'll like what you see.
Okay, I will definitely check that out. Let's do a little jam or cram with our resident Jamster Cramster. Hey, by the way, actually, sorry, just before we get to that, I got a little bit of news. So we have a new addition to the Fantasy Football Tour. In case you don't know, this August, we're taking this show, we're packing up this studio, we're hitting the road. We're going to host 32 fantasy football drafts in 32 straight days in all 32 pro football cities in America, 10,000 miles. And guess who's on board now? Guru, you're coming with us, brother.
Yeah. 32 and 32 and 32.
Hide
Get
your
the bail,
women.
get
hide
the bail
your
money
children.
ready, my friend.
Get the bail money ready. All right.
We're gonna need liver transplants at the end of this. Thanks, Obamacare.
All right, let's get right to it with some jam or crams for this Tuesday. Talking about Scooter, because Gray and I have been big on Scooter. You can argue all he's going to give you is some average, but I kind of like Scooter. His minor league numbers are fairly interesting for kind of I don't want to say middle infielder, but hey, it works. Talk to me about Scooter Gennett.
Don't call my Scooter middling. I love me some Scooter. He's up to about 25.
Whoa. Maybe you're not on the tour anymore.
Scooter's up to about 25% ownership now. Let's boost that up a bit because this guy's outperforming the hot rods like Dustin Pedroia, Brandon Phillips, Aaron Hill. The past couple of weeks, he's put up 9 runs, a homer, 5 RBI. He threw in a steal. He's hitting .405. The OPS is up over 950. A stat that might give you a few worries is his batting average on balls in play. That's about 360 on the old BABIP. Is that a sign that the regression fairies are coming for a visit? Well, probably a little bit, but Scooter is a bad motor scooter, and it's a jam.
Okay, good stuff. Speaking of regression fairies, we're not drinking any absinthe on this tour. okay, for the record. JD Martinez of Les Astros de Houston.
Oh, good old JD there. He's
Sorry, did
burning it
my
up.
French mess you up?
Oh, he's burning it up with the Tigers now.
We are an international show. Oh, oh, dude, sorry.
Yeah, and
You can tell he's not on any of my teams.
yeah, I can tell. But he's on a lot of teams. The ownership has shot up to 60% this week, and I mean, why not? Just Ducky is 11 for 24 with 3 homers, 7 RBI over his last 7 games. If you're a Rajay Davis owner, I don't know why you are anymore. Martinez has taken the job, so it's time to bail on Davis and drink some good old JD. Now, he doesn't have the same old speed as Rajay, but he'll get you a few steals, and he could hit another 10 to 15 homers the rest of the way. I'm liking JD Martinez. That's a jam.
All right, good stuff. I also like JD. I like the sour mashiness of it. Let's get a little Sagnoffy here, of course. Steals ain't got no face. Talk to me about Eric Young Jr. Got off to a great start. Was actually leading off for a while for the Metropolitans. Does he still play for the Mets, or am I messing up again?
He's still there with the Mets. He just came off the DL. He has 6 hits in his last 7 games, despite batting 9th in one game last week. Yeah, the pitcher was batting ahead of Eric Young. Interesting bit of strategy there from the New York Mets. I don't know. Maybe Mr. Met can bat 9th. Either way, it doesn't seem like the best way to utilize, the one great skill that Young has, and that's his speed. He missed nearly a month with that hammy, but he's still top 10 in stolen bases on the year. If you're Sagnoff starved, I'd say go ahead and jam. I won't tell anyone, but that outfield is pretty crowded there in New York with Curtis Granderson. Bobby Abreu is still around. Juan Lagares is coming back soon. It's kind of a mess there in the outfield, but I mean, who knows? Maybe the Mets can figure out a way and they can have Young bat 10th. It's a cram.
You know what, though? I actually like the idea of having a speedster in the 9-hole in the National League because basically, look, he's going to get the same amount of at-bats. Why not have a second leadoff hitter in that spot? To me, it's logical.
I hear you, but don't try to run rings of logic around my humor.
Alex Wood.
This is a guy I've been picking up everywhere this week. It was another start apocalypse last week. Andrew Kashner is down.
Yep.
Michael Wacha is down.
Yep.
Jaime Garcia, who we had as one of our jams last week, he hit the DL.
Yep.
So Wood is going to rejoin the rotation tomorrow versus the Astros. And he had 5 wins and an ERA under 4 with 63 Ks in 60 innings before he was shipped off to AAA. I like the lefty Wood to step in, and I don't think there'll be any inning restrictions on him the rest of the way. He's going to rack up some Ks, and I think he could be a sneaky second half jam.
That's 4 for 4 on the jams today, brother.
We kind of crammed a little on Eric Young.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Hey, did you have any significant others who wanted to just kind of walk into the show today, partially dressed?
I'm footloose and fancy free, man. No one's coming in here.
All right, so again, listen, just because we'll mention it again because Guru is on board with us, we are hosting 32 Fantasy Football Draft starting August the 4th in Seattle. We're doing, I can do this real quick, Seattle, San Francisco, Oakland, San Diego, Phoenix, Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, Tampa, Miami, Jacksonville, Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Buffalo. Okay, I'm just going to stop. If you want to join us, tickets are $15. Gets you your first 2 drinks. We're bringing the Razzball crew down. We're going to do some mock drafts with you. You can bask in the glow of our fantasy knowledge. It's going to be wicked. Google Razzball Tour for more information. All right, Guru, listen, man, I'm really excited that you're going to be my roommate. But just for the record, I get first pick on the bets.
I thought we could get bunk beds. More room for activities.
Okay. Maybe actually I'll bunk with the cameraman. All right. We got to get out of here. We'll be right back after this with Smokey. We're going to talk a little bit of bullpens because they're a mess. Okay, as usual, this time of year, bullpens are a smoldering mess. So let's go to the fire department with our loogie out of the pen at Smokey_loogie, Loogy. Hi, Smokey. How are you?
Hey Nick, what's going on, buddy?
Well, you tell me what's going on in Tampa Bay. I'm seeing Peralta, I'm seeing McGee, I'm seeing Ball Four. It seems like everyone's getting a save there. Is this an actual closer by committee?
It's looking that way until I think Tampa Bay completely goes in punt formation, and then they'll probably call for a fair catch, and then unfortunately the Australian rugger will be in there to be the closer again. I think Peralta's the guy you want to own for now. I mean, if you're in roster, suburgatory, and you need one or two saves here or there, Peralta's definitely the guy you want to grab. McGee was all shiny and new last 2 weeks ago, and everybody jumped on his train. And if you match up his numbers with Peralta's, Peralta's just a better pitcher. And I think Tampa Bay is basically waiting to go in, like I said before, into punt formation, and Peralta is a free agent, so I think they're going to try to gain as much value from him as possible right now.
Okay, fair assessment. Let's talk about the Angels.
Well, this is probably one of the worst situations I've encountered in a couple years. I mean, you basically have guys in there that just have opportunities and then just stumble all over it like a Friday night in Hoboken. It's absolutely awful. I mean, Joe Smith is in there. He blows a save. Frieri, his ERA is I think higher than my SAT scores, which isn't really that high. But and then they tried something new with Kevin Jepson, and he threw up all over himself. And then Cam Bedrosian's ERA is actually 81 right now. He's nice and stout, 81.
Okay, so if you got to pick someone, who are you taking?
You know what? I'm probably avoiding it at all costs unless I have to. I was actually looking at their bullpen situation right now. If I'm going to add somebody there just to speculate and be like, you know what, I'm looking for a guy that maybe could just jump in there and maybe grab one or two. There's a guy who just started up. His name's Mike Morin, Morin. I think Scioscia's been exhausted with trying to go through everybody else's possibilities, and I think he might try something new here.
Okay, Pittsburgh grilled cheese is out. Melanson is in. Is that something we're going to see the rest of the season, or is there a chance that Grilly gets back in?
Melanson is basically the net save hold king. I mean, he's the cat's pajamas when it comes to saves and holds. He is. He's the cat's pajamas. Your cats don't wear pajamas? Mine do. They wear expensive silk ones. But Melanson is this is one of those things. Grilly's numbers, they're up. Everything that you don't want to be up is up, and everything you want to be where it should be isn't. His Ks are down, his walks are up, his home run for fly ball rate is way up. It's almost doubled. Melanson, he's basically consistent. He's like, everyday oatmeal, without the berries and the brown sugar.
Okay. So after all those analogies, we're sticking with Melanson.
Absolutely. I think he's going to sit in the role, and I think Pittsburgh's probably going to go on a little run, get back in contention with the Cardinals' rotation taking some dings. And I think Melanson's going to give them some stability, and they're probably going to get 500 and above it with him in there.
Okay, I kind of feel for Mike Ilitch in Detroit because he has spent like no one's business trying to turn that team into a winner, get them to win a World Series. The Achilles heel continues to be the bullpen. What's happening in Detroit?
Well, it's funny. Nathan tricked everybody. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to throw 2 great games and then strike out. Basically pull a Kimbrel." He struck out 3. I think he struck out 3 guys in back-to-back appearances, and then what was it? Yesterday or Saturday, he stubbed his toe again, and it looks like he looked like the same person. 3 hits and 6 batters, gave up a run, lost, and blew the save. Unfortunately, I think Detroit is so tied to him in that situation that I don't know whether they can go to another closer that they have. They went to Koch and he went to one, but he faced 2 lefties in that inning. So and Phil Koch's numbers are just not anything that you want on a fantasy roster right now. Nathan is the guy you want to own. Unfortunately you probably drafted Nathan as your closer 1 there because it's a great situation if you look at it.
In theory, sure.
But you really can't. I wouldn't. He's not a straight drop for me. I would just, probably sit on him. Maybe handcuff him with a Jabba Chamberlain, or in Albuquerque. But they're not going to really. I don't think they're going to be anything sustainable stat-wise in the save department that you're going to be able to be like, hey, you know what? I feel comfortable because I have Nathan and I have the backups. So you know what? I'm probably all good. They're probably going to destroy your numbers.
Do you think the Tigers are a candidate to go out and get someone prior to the deadline to actually come in close?
Absolutely. And believe it or not, I mentioned last podcast. I thought Addison Reed would be a good fit because he's got a couple years. But now that we're talking about it and his name just came up, how good would Joel Peralta look in the Tiger bullpen right now?
Wow, listen, let him get a couple saves in Tampa first. You're right, though. I could see them showcasing him. That makes a lot of sense. All right, another situation that's been messy is the Cubs. Rondon is back. Ramirez had done a pretty good stand-in job. Who's going to be the guy that winds up holding that role for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think it's Rondon. I mean, Ramirez did a great job filling in for those 10, 12 games. He got 2 saves. He was a great ad if you added him for that week that he got those 2 saves. Rondon came back. He got the save yesterday, I believe. Funny story is James Russell actually got a save in there somewhere. So the save chances are abundant in Chi-Town.
Who knew?
Yeah, it's crazy. And on a side note with the Cubs bullpen, I don't want to jinx anybody, but Pedro Strop is actually hasn't been scored on in 9 appearances. So.
Okay, you just jinxed someone in an NL only league. Hey, listen, I'll tell you, this weekend on Sunday, for the first time, I actually rooted for the United States. Now that I'm living here, when in Rome, and you've been following a lot of the World Cup. What a heartbreaker of a game!
Yeah, if you can hear my voice, this is not my normal speaking voice. This is Jim Beam and USA disappointment streaming through my voice right now.
You know what this show needs? A really good bourbon sponsor.
Smokey's Bourbon, brewed in the streets of Shaolin. No, but yeah, Hoboken. I was out in Hoboken yesterday to watch the game, and the town basically every bar was probably 50, 60 deep outside to get in a bar, and people were wearing inappropriate. We got to go. They got a shot against Germany, yes or no? I think because they have a German coach, I think the jig is up, and I think they're going to have a conspiracy theory, and they're going to tie, and they're both going to get in. All right, there you go. All right, thanks for joining us today, Smokey on Razzball Radio. We'll be back tomorrow with more good quality fantasy sports information. We're out of here. See you tomorrow.